Learning to manage. Yesterday, Doc Gooden picked up the fire, and he beat the Braves with his bat, his glove, and his arm. This afternoon, the Braves will try to take the game and the series next, right here on TBS.
Back goes Nixon to the wall. He caught it! Unbelievable!
Kiss this one goodbye. It's a slam. And down the stretch he comes. Here's the Braves win! Braves win! Braves win! Braves win! Braves win! It is an absolutely beautiful afternoon at Shea Stadium. You will not find a prettier day in New York to play baseball than today. A large crowd filling in for the third and final game of the series as the Braves here against the Mets. I'm Don Sutton along with Joe Simpson, welcoming you to another afternoon of Braves baseball. There is a big crowd today. It is the final game of the series before the Braves go on to Cincinnati, and it's a big game, Joe. A lot of times we get caught up in big games individually. Which should we focus on, the big game or maybe what happens in the series?
I think over the long haul, Don, you ought to be thinking about winning series, and I know that's something Bobby Cox talks about a lot. And when you think about it, the reason the Braves are 6 games over 500 now is because they have been putting back-to-back victories on the board in terms of series. A win today would mean 5 straight and 6 of their last 7 series. The Braves are playing good baseball, there's no doubt about it, but as long as they can continue to win 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, whatever like that, I think they're going to be just fine to be able to overtake the Giants.
Winning today would be a good way to enjoy the off day tomorrow before taking on Cincinnati. It's Avery for the Braves, Saberhagen for the Mets. We'll have the rest of the starting lineup when we return.
You can see an absolutely gorgeous day for baseball at Shea Stadium in New York. And now let's take a look at the Turtle Wax Formula 2001 starting lineup for Bobby Cox this afternoon. Otis Nixon back in the lineup to play center field today. Then the usual Blauser, Pendleton, and Justice, Gant, Bream, and Olson, Lemke, and Avery. Defense for the Mets, they've already taken the field. Today a little different look at their lineup. Coleman and Gallagher and Bonilla in the outfield. Johnson, Fernandez, Kent, and Murray on the infield. That's the same. Charlie O'Brien gets a start behind the plate, and on the mound, 29-year-old Brett Saberhagen. He makes his first appearance ever against the Atlanta Braves. You can see this year he has put up a 3-4 record. All 3 wins have come against the expansion ball clubs. There are his totals so far in the season. Only 10 walks in 58 and a third innings. That's typical of Brett Saberhagen. He's not going to put too many guys on base. In fact, of his first 8 starts of the year, he's only had 2 in which he's walked as many as 2 batters. If I had a description of this guy from my knowledge of him in the American League, Don, I would say that in his prime, he was a Greg Maddux type pitcher with a little more velocity in that he could always put the ball where he wanted it and have something on it.
That's a pretty good company to put him in. First time he's ever faced the Braves. Last year he fared well against the National League West. He was 3-0 with a 1 earned run average. Otis Nixon will kick it off for the Braves. And the first one is a strike, and we're underway. We will not rush into telling you whether it is a ball or a strike today because Mark Barron behind the plate is one of those who takes his time ringing it up. There's a ball, and it's 1-1. Barron calling the balls and strikes. Lane at first, Runge at second, and Relaford at third. And I'm sure Mark with a fan club tuning in on TBS since he is from down in Lilburn. That's out of play, and it's 1-2. And Otis Nixon, a little noise in today's New York paper, Joe.
Yeah, he was not happy about not being in the lineup yesterday, and for good reason. I mean, he was 3 for 5 on Friday night. Dion got the start yesterday, and Otis made a comment that he didn't understand what was going on.
Inside. At his best, what would you say Saberhagen's velocity is?
Well into the 90s. He's not a 95 guy, but he can bust a 91, 92 mile-an-hour fastball on you with consistency.
Busted one there, and Nixon will make a U-turn. Strikeout number 1. 1 gone in the first.
Last year, Saberhagen missed so much of the season with a real strange injury. You watch the strikeout pitch. Good fastball at the letters. He only pitched 97 innings for the Mets last year because he was on the disabled list 2 different times with tendonitis in his right index finger.
Here's Jeff Blauser. That's out of play, and it's 0-1. We've got some discrepancies on the umpiring crew for today's game. We will check it down and give you the revised, upgraded list of umpires. According to our rotation, it should be Mark Barron, but we're hearing it might be Jeff Kellogg. And from our angle and from his backside, they almost all look alike. A ball and a strike to Blauser. Jeff tied for first in the big leagues with 59 hits. That's some pretty good company to be in. That's more than Gwynn. Out of play. Count 1-2. All right, so the Mark Barron fan club will come up empty today. It is Jeff Kellogg, according to the folks who should know that, calling the balls and strikes. So, Mark, unless you've changed your number. 1-2 to Blauser. Oh, got him. Jeff may have turned away just enough so that didn't catch him flush. Got to hurt a little. He's at first base.
He's been nailed a lot this year, and he got hit quite a bit in spring training. That's the 4th time he's already been plunked this season. And he was ready to step right into that fastball, and actually did. Ball rode back up and in on him.
That'll bring up Terry Pendleton. For all of the players in today's starting lineup, it will be their first look, firsthand, at Brett Saberhagen. He didn't face the Braves all of last year. And none of these are folks who faced him in the American League. Left side, fair foul. Howard Johnson shading his eyes. Got a bead on it. And just in foul territory, Pendleton is gone.
One guy who might be able to help the Braves a little bit is their teammate Bill Pecota, who was a teammate of Saberhagen's in Kansas City for years. The only problem there is he didn't have a chance to face Brett too much, and of course they were teammates last year here in New York.
His best fastball, up in the strike zone or down in the strike zone?
I think upstairs. He's got an excellent slider and curveball. He'll cut his fastball a little bit like Maddox and run it in on your hands. And once in a while he'll throw you a cross-seamer and ride it up and away like he did to Otis. He's tough, and 2 Cy Youngs under his belt proves it.
Here's David Justice. Breaking ball, snap throw to first. Trying to catch Blauser napping. It's 0-1 to Justice.
One of the things about Saberhagen, even though he hasn't been able to pitch much for the Mets, is that he has pitched better here at Shea Stadium than he has on the road in the National League.
To center field, and this ball is hammered. Gallagher will watch it get high off the wall. Blauser headed for the plate. There'll be no throw. Justice takes it to the deepest part for a double, and the Braves break on top.
He hit a ball here yesterday about as far as I've ever seen one hit in Shea Stadium off the scoreboard, and he got all of this one. Don, you talked a couple of days ago about how the ball does not carry to this ballpark between the gaps. This one just missed by a foot of going out in straightaway center field. We saw a lot of fly balls yesterday die out there. He had to have crushed that ball.
10 feet right or left, and he's got his homer. That's the deepest part. He's on second. 1-0 Braves, and here comes Ron Gant. Fastball strike, and it's 0-1. Gant 1 out of 4 yesterday. It was a triple. He's enjoying a good series against the Mets up to this point. He's 3 out of 9 with an RBI. He's got a 5-game hitting streak on the line, too. And the numbers continue to climb. He's up near 250. Upstairs, and it's 1-1.
Brett Saberhagen was only 21 years old when he won his first Cy Young back in '85, the year the Kansas City Royals won the World Championship, and then won again in '89.
Good cut by Gant. It's 1-2.
He's accomplished a lot at a very young age. I mean, the 2 Cy Youngs. He was a comeback player of the year in '87 after a poor '86 year, an All-Star, and an MVP in the World Series. So
what brings us to a point? What's this with this odd even year stuff with him?
He denies it. I mean, he just says it's just a fluke deal, just one of those odd circumstances.
He wins well in odd years, but right. He gets lunched on even years.
Right. Hard to figure.
just off the corner, and it's 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Justice at second. He is doubled home Jeff Blauser, and the Braves lead it 1-0. That'll make it 3-2.
Saberhagen was in high school. His junior year was terrific. He hurt his arm a little bit. His senior year had to play more in the field, more shortstop than pitch, and as a result was not a very high draft choice. In fact, the Royals took him in the 19th round back in 1982.
Ball 4. I'm not sure Ron Gant could have done anything with that one if it had been a strike.
See Dallas Green a little upset with that pitch, but it wasn't only that one, but the one before. He just missed with 2 blazing fastballs that were tailing back toward the corner. Even Charlie O'Brien was ready to go to the dugout on that one.
He's working with a guy, Charlie O'Brien, who was familiar with him from the American League. O'Brien came up in the Oakland organization, spent some time catching for the Milwaukee Brewers. First pitch to Bream is out of play, and it's 0-1. And I had the occasion to work with Charlie O'Brien in 1985 in spring training as a minor leaguer in some of those camp games that you get into when you're a veteran player and they want to save the A game for other guys.
And you want to play golf in the afternoon.
Thank you very much. Who's telling this lie, you or me? Who's robbing his trade, you or Shorty? Here's a strike, and it's 0-2. And after working about 3 innings with Charlie O'Brien, and at that time he had to be, you know, what is he now, 32, so that he would have been just a kid. I thought, here is a guy who has as good a feel for catching as I've ever seen, and it must be true. He's still catching in the big leagues, and he's carrying about a .210 lifetime average. Excellent catcher. Inside, and it's 1-2.
Good guy to have on your ball club, too. Very good-natured. Likes to keep everybody pumped up when he's not in there.
I think Charlie has become Dwight Gooden's personal catcher, too. And I know that nobody will like the phrasing of that, but that's about what it is. Still 1-2. There are a lot of guys. I guess Gene Mock, Bob Boone, in conversations about a catcher's value to a club, used to say that if you want 75 runs out of, say, the catcher spot, get a guy who'll drive you 50 or drive you 45 and save you 30. What's the difference?
Right.
And certainly Charlie O'Brien fits that category.
And it doesn't just have to be saving your runs by calling a good game, but by blocking balls, keeping runners out of scoring position, by throwing well.
Got him. Took a little off something. That'll take care of Bream. And that'll wrap up the first inning for the Braves, but not before they put 1 on the board. They do it on a hit, take advantage of a hit batsman. Mets coming up, down 1-0.
Justice gives the Braves the lead. We go to the bottom of the first and check out Dallas Green's lineup this afternoon. Vince Coleman leads it off. Then Charlie O'Brien will hit second. Eddie Murray third. Bobby Bonilla, Howard Johnson, and Jeff Kent. Tony Fernandez drops to 7th. Dave Gallagher will hit 8th today in center field. And Brett Saberhagen, the pitcher, bats 9th. The defense for the Braves: Gant, Nixon, and Justice back out in the outfield. Pendleton, Blauser, Lemke, and Bream from third to first. Greg Olson behind the dish. And Steve Avery makes his 10th start of the year. As you look at his numbers, his last start was on May 17th against the Montreal Expos. He won the ball game 5-2. Had a 2-hit shutout working into the 6th inning, but tired in the 6th, had to come out. Still picked up the victory. Gave up 4 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts.
Coleman will lead it off and takes ball 1 down low. Vince Coleman 2 out of 6 lifetime against Avery. Avery's got to figure he's got 3 more runs coming, because normally when he starts, the Braves average 4 runs a start. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. Coleman has hit in 10 of his last 12 ball games. Up to 256. His lone home run of the year, the one that he got yesterday. I think that's the first time he's homered leading off a ball game for the Mets since he's been here, too.
Right.
Coleman, O'Brien, and Murray. First 3 due up. Chance for Pendleton. Tricky hop. Good play. That ball had some English on it, but a good play by Terry Pendleton gets the first off to a good start for Avery.
It's a little spooky because a couple of innings, there have been innings where the Mets have gotten innings going for rallies on infield hits, but Coleman not able to beat this one out because Terry was cheating in anyway.
On a ball club that's struggling, In a lineup that's struggling a little bit, why would you bat a 103 hitter second?
If he's going to give you an out, make it a productive out. He's going to bat second. If you can get Coleman on, maybe hit behind him to move him over, make it useful.
You see what he's done to this point. Doesn't strike out much, though. Last year only hit about 2-something, but he only struck out. Well, it's a moot point now. There's a base hit to right field.
He hurt Atlanta last year when he got some starts for the Mets. I remember one instance at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. He hit a home run. So he's not somebody up there with just a mush bat up there in his hands. He can do some damage to you. And he stole his first career base on April 17th of this season. So like Sid Bream, he has become a stolen base threat all of a sudden.
And that'll get you in the lineup on Sunday. Here's Eddie Murray. O'Brien last year was 6 out of 15 against the Braves. He's hitting .330 career against Atlanta. Good breaking ball from Avery.
I think we've told everyone about how many switch hitters the Mets have. They have 9 in all. 5 are in the lineup today. And of the switch hitters, the guys that are hitting best right-handed are Bonilla, Fernandez, and Murray. And Eddie's tearing it up right-handed, hitting .372.
6 out of 26 career against Avery, one of them a homer. Avery with some good low gas. And he has Murray in a hole 0-2. Speaking of hitting in streaks, look what Murray has done. He's aging gracefully, I think you might say.
Boy, he's really fallen off, hasn't he?
He's hitting 6 out of his last 7. Could be 2. Lemke for 1. DeBreen for 2. Double play. Good play by Mark Lemke at second. He got turned upside down by Charlie O'Brien. So in a manner of speaking, the Mets go 1-2-3. We head to the second. On top of the Braves, 1-0.
Play at second base on the double play as Charlie O'Brien went in and took out Mark Lemke. You see that Lemke got rid of the ball, made sure he got his throw off, and then started trying to figure out where to go to get out of the way, and unfortunately couldn't find a spot, but he appears to be all right.
And he'll bat second in the inning. Olsen will lead it off.
Just going to say it was a nice, clean, hard slide by Charlie O'Brien.
And that's another ingredient he brings as a part of his equipment, and one of the reasons he gets to play a lot. 1-0 Braves, top of the second. Ball 1 misses outside. Well, I checked the numbers, and once again, I did not win the New York lottery.
Oh, too bad.
I wonder if it helps to buy a ticket. There's a strike, and it's 1-1.
In your case, no.
You're probably right. A ball and a strike to Greg Olsen. Ole's hitting 7 out of his last 9. That stays high, and it's 2-1. 202, a homer, and a half a dozen RBIs. On the ground. Fernandez to Murray, and Olsen is gone.
Second baseman, number
Saberhagen's success here at this ballpark. You can see that the difference in his ERA is over 2 runs a ball game. And part of that, I think, Don, you can go back to the fact that he's not afraid to throw a few high fastballs up and away to some left-handed batters, particularly, hoping to keep it in the ballpark, although Dave Justice almost spoiled that strategy in the first inning.
Lemke chops the first one foul. It's 0-1. There are not a lot of David Justices, though, who can drive that thing to the opposite field or straight away that far. Lemke 0 for 4 yesterday. He's 2 out of 8 in the series. In the last week or 10 days, Mark has hit .308. That's out of play, and he's in a hole 0-2. You realize 3 weeks ago, Mark Lemke was hitting just a shade over .225. Now he's pushed his average all the way up almost to .280. 5 homers, 14 RBIs. 2 of those homers coming against the Colorado Rockies in one game. Got him with the breaking ball. What do they call that? Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. 3 pitches. 3 strikeouts for Saberhagen.
Gives him 42 Ks for the year. And that was a good hook right there. Beauty. Made it to the big leagues with the Royals at the age of 19.
Here's Avery. Takes the first pitch low, 1-0. I wonder what the youngest average age of making it to the big leagues. What category of player? Pitchers, catchers, infielders, outfielders, or what? I wonder if it would be pitchers.
I would guess so.
1-1 to Avery. I think most people feel like hitting takes a little bit longer than pitching if you're gifted with the ability to do it. A little bit longer to
experience. Need a few more at bats, learn a few more tendencies.
Take something off of that one, and he's got Avery in a hole, 1-2. Some pretty good hitting yesterday.
He did some hitting, he did some pitching, he did some fielding.
Dragged the infield after it was over just to make it a complete day. Avery stays alive. It's 1-2. His 6th home run of his career yesterday. That tied him with a fairly well-known New York Met named Tom Seaver, for a career high in homers by a pitcher. Count even at 2-2. Got him with the fastball. Saberhagen sets him down in order here in the 2nd inning. The last 2 via the strikeout route. He now has 4. Mets coming up bottom of the 2nd. Braves still on top, 1-0.
1-0 Braves. We go to the bottom of 2, and this telecast authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Atlanta National League Baseball Club and is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Atlanta National League Baseball Club is prohibited.
Bobby Bonilla will lead it off. Bottom of the 2nd for the Mets. The Braves with 1 in the 1st lead it 1-0. Down low, and it's 1-0. Bonilla 5 out of 20 with a couple of homers against Avery. And greeted with mixed support as he made his way to home plate here. Chance for Blauser. And he throws out Bonilla, and he is greeted with a few boos as he heads back to the dugout. Either fans don't like him or he's changed his name to Book Powell, one of the two.
Well, it's unfortunate when a guy knows that 7.5 out of 10 times when he goes to the plate, he's going to come back to the dugout being booed. Hitting .275 right-handed. And even on the times where he gets a base hit, very few cheers for the guy.
Well, anytime you step into the spotlight, as Howard Johnson stands in, by getting a big contract or by voicing something, you open yourself up for either there's a strike, 1 or 2 kinds of support, either negative or positive, but you open yourself up for a lot of it one way or the other, don't you?
I would think that it'd be very difficult to please everybody in this town.
0-1 to Howard Johnson. Johnson against Avery, 4 out of 16 with a homer. And boy, the number you gave me of Johnson against John Smoltz yesterday was unbelievable.
It was at 5 for 25 lifetime going into yesterday's game, and all 5 hits against Smoltz were homers. That was an amazing figure.
2-1. Howard Johnson originally in the there's John checking out the airplanes.
Either that or he's got some water in his ear and he's trying to
right at Pendleton. Quickly 2 out here in the 2nd inning.
Steve Avery in his last start against the Expos gave up some hard hit balls like this one. Great shot on that one, guys. But he was able to cruise into the 6th inning. Remember, that was the night, maybe the warmest and muggiest night of the year against the Expos, and he just ran out of gas into the 6th inning when he gave up 2 runs.
Jeff Kent will hit with 2 outs. Kent 0 for 3 lifetime against Avery. He's been driving in some runs for the Mets lately. Remember, he had the homer yesterday. Comes up empty on this one, but he's knocked in 13 runs in his last 16 ball games. Hitting over 300 for the homestand. Like Mark Lemke, his average about 10 days ago was in the 160s, and he's already up knocking at 260. Part of the deal that sent David Cone to Toronto last year. No balls and 2 strikes.
You know who he reminds me of physically, and perhaps the Mets are hoping offensively he can get that cranked up too, is Bobby Grich. You know, big and strong for a second baseman.
He put some good numbers on the board for the Angels.
Sure did. This guy may never hit like Bobby Grich, but he's size-wise similar. 6'1", 185. Grich was even a little bit bigger.
Count even at 2-2. We have really been fortunate this trip into New York. I have not seen 3 or prettier days consecutively than what we have enjoyed here. Got him. Good fastball from Avery. He rings up his first strikeout. Mets go in order in the second. We have played 2. Take a look at this as we go out. We head to the third. Braves on top 1-0. Top of the third, top of the order. Braves on top 1-0. It'll be Nixon, Blauser, and Pendleton. First 3 due up here. I know you had to work yesterday, but boy, did I have a treat.
What'd you go see?
What do you mean? How'd you know?
I know.
I saw one of the best plays I have ever seen in my life here in New York, and I've seen a few in the last couple of years. Jelly's Last Jam. It was a play about the late Jelly Roll Morton. Here's a strike to Nixon. Great music, great dancing, great lines in it. Ben Vereen and I think Brian Mitchell were in it. But if you get a chance next time in, what a great play.
Mary told me you were ready to go buy some tap shoes.
Yeah, I was. That's out of play, and it's 0-2 to Nixon. I mean, there are just so many. You know, we're around baseball players, and this is a talent. And you kind of we start taking them for granted, ball players, because they're athletes. But I think when you go sit and watch these people perform the way they do it on Broadway here, I'm just in awe of some of their talents. 1-2 to Nixon.
Well, I can understand that.
But I would be in awe.
I've heard you sing, and I can understand how you could really appreciate that sort of thing.
Coming from the other end of the spectrum.
Uh-huh.
A little bit high, and it's 2-2 to Nixon.
It's like Brett's going to try to go right back to what was successful for him in the first inning. He's thrown Otis 3 high fastballs.
Struck him out on one of those to start the ball game. Pop left side. Howard Johnson, sunglasses gleaming. Over in Jimmy Williams' territory, makes the putout. 1 gone. That'll bring up Jeff Blauser. Blauser has scored the only run. And for Jeff, it might have been a little bit of a painful run. He got hit with a pitch. Eventually came around in front of David Justice's double high atop the center field wall. Does Saberhagen throw a couple of breaking balls? One like he tried just to get over a curveball?
A little bit slower. Uses it almost like an off-speed pitch, like a changeup. But he also has a straight change to go with it.
That was not a change. That's good gas, and it's 1-1.
He's throwing hard today. Only one guy's gotten the ball out of the infield, and that was Justice. Tough to improve on that kind of April, but he's done it.
Through the wicket. We'll see how they score it. Chances are it will be an error, because I believe Kent got there in time to make the play.
E4.
It is going to be an error on the Mets second baseman. So Blauser has reached first twice.
He may have been thinking about that at bat when he struck out to end the inning. He may have been out there, his mind not on defense, because he was a little lazy getting to this ball. It was hit hard, yes, but he just wanted to backhand it and wound up not getting the glove down. E4.
Would you say he olayed that one?
A little bit.
Here's Pendleton. Terry popped to third his last time up. Couple of homers and 19 RBIs. There goes Blauser. Hit and run to perfection. Blauser will make it to third. That's the way you draw it up in the playbook.
thing about this to me, Don, is that normally you like to hit the ball to right field on a hit and run play, no matter who's covering, simply because you got a long throw to make from right field. Pendleton, though, with Vince Coleman in left field, not afraid to hit the ball to the left side because Coleman does not throw the ball well, and Blauser took advantage of that. Never stopped grounding second.
They're at the corners for David Justice, and he's got another RBI. A base hit for Justice. He's 2 for 2, and the Braves lead it 2-0. So the Braves take advantage of the error by Jeff Kent. Justice gets the RBI, but boy, let's don't overlook the hit and run play that got him around there.
That's right, and some good bat work by Pendleton. David yesterday had 2 good swings against Dwight Gooden, the 2 best swings of the day by the Braves, and he's carrying it into today's game.
They're at first and second for Gant. Comes up empty, and it's 0-1. Ron walked his first time up. So officially, he has yet to come to bat.
David Justice cracks the 30 barrier in RBIs.
To center field and deep. On the run is Gallagher. He'll catch up to it. Pendleton will tag and go to third. Justice, who was already down at second, had to retreat back to first. So they're at the corners with 2 out, and Gant almost got that over Gallagher's head.
I think Dave Gallagher backed up a little bit for the middle of the order after he got burned by Justice. And of course, the ball almost went out of the ballpark in the first inning. He decided he better play a little bit deeper, and that's why he was able to track that one down.
Braves have 1. If they get another, they'll have to do it with 2 outs. And Sid Bream will try to bring him home. Sid struck out looking. Looked like Saberhagen caught the inside corner with a changeup the last time. A little bit of an unusual spot for a changeup, but it worked on Breen.
Eddie Murray's got shades on, and he's going out to the mound. Doesn't have anything to do with the baseball or anything other than the fact that he may be having a little bit of trouble picking the ball up out of the shirt sleeves down the third base line when Saberhagen throws over.
A lot of white shirts in the crowd here. Temperature in the low 70s. Bright sunshine. 1-0 to Breen.
Those shades he has on too are like shooter's glasses that cut down on glare, so maybe that'll help him.
And that's what he's looking at. You can see that a ball coming out of that crowd would be hard to pick up. To right field. Should stay in for Bonilla, and he makes the catch. That'll wrap up the third for the Braves, but they add to their lead. They pick up 1 on 2 hits. There was 1 Met error and a couple left stranded. Mets coming up bottom of the third. Atlanta's on top.
Our score here at Shea Stadium, the Braves 2, the Mets nothing. Braves about hit the Mets 3-1. We'll check out some other scores for you. In the National League, Philadelphia over Montreal 4-1. Kent Bottenfield is homered for the Expos. How about that? St. Louis over Pittsburgh. Florida beating Chicago. And Cincinnati at San Francisco. And you see the other games, they'll get underway later this afternoon.
We'll give you the American League a little bit later. Fernandez will lead off the Mets half of the third inning. Braves on top 2-0. Breaking ball down low, and it's 1-0. Fernandez, Gallagher, and Saberhagen. First 3 due up. Another chance for Pendleton. He's been busy already. He throws out Fernandez. 1 gone. Terry already with 3 assists and 1 putout. Here comes Dave Gallagher.
American League scores, nothing to report to you except at Cleveland, where Detroit has jumped out on top 1-0. They got their run in the second. The other games will get underway later on. 2 night games: Seattle at Kansas City, New York at Boston.
Gallagher has hit safely in all 12 of the games he started this year. He's a part of that platoon in center field. It's got to be hitting near 340 now for the Mets.
You know what I like about these guys, Gallagher and Orsulak, is that they play like they enjoy playing.
Chance for Blauser. He throws out Gallagher, and very quickly 2 gone here in the 3rd. What do you mean by that?
Well, they run out everything. They play hard in the outfield. They play very well fundamentally. They don't make any mistakes defensively, as far as, you know, nonchalant or lazy mistakes. They just enjoy playing the game and can't wait to get in the lineup when it's their turn.
Sounds like 2 guys Dallas Green won't have to have conversations with.
Not at all.
Here's Saberhagen. 2 out of 19 for this season. But he's a pretty good athlete. He'll get his cuts in. Waste one there. It's 0-1. We're in the bottom of the 3rd inning from Shea Stadium. Braves on top 2-0. A run in the first, 1 in the 3rd, and it's 0-2 to Saberhagen. The Mets got a single from Charlie O'Brien in the 1st, but he was wiped out on a Eddie Murray double play, and that'll wrap up the 3rd. And Avery is looking good. That is 7 in a row set down by Steve Avery. He strikes out Saberhagen. 3 in the books. Braves on top 2-0.
2-0 Atlanta. We go to the top half of the 4th inning. We want to let you know what's coming up next homestand. Of course, the Giants are in town this coming weekend, May 28th to 30th, and it's the Padres. There's plenty of tickets available for the San Diego series. For tickets, you see the numbers.
I think the nearest ticket for the Giants series, though, is in Chattanooga.
Might be
in somebody's den. Olsen, Lemke, and Avery. First 3 due up. Top of the 4th. Braves on top 2-0. Avery working on a 1-hitter. Braves have 3 hits. And Olsen's behind in the count 0-1. First time up, Olsen grounded out to Fernandez. Braves have taken advantage of, maybe not mistakes, but a hit batsman, Blauser, getting hit in the 1st inning led to a run, and an error by second baseman Kent led to the next run.
Did you ever do that? Saberhagen gave Olsen a little something else to think about. Dropped down on him a little bit, fired a crossfire fastball at him.
Ahead in the count, nothing wrong with it. Hits the outside corner here, 1-2. That also sets up something you could do a little bit later on, too. He dropped down, he threw a fastball. You could drop down a little later on, throw a breaking ball. 2 different pitches. I remember the first time I tried it. It left an indelible memory.
On your body somewhere?
No, on some fans in deep left field. To Kent, this time he feels it. He throws out Olsen, and he gets a round of cheers. That'll bring up Mark Lemke.
You remember the hitter?
Yes, I do. He is now a vice president in the Braves organization.
Oh.
First time up, first time I faced him, I said, well, you got to go. First of all, I was getting all kinds of scouting reports from Don Drysdale, who, when you're 6'6", 230, you can do anything you want. First pitch to Lemke is a strike, and it's 0-1. He says you got to throw him some chin music, run it up under him, and then drop a slider on the outside corner. I said, I don't throw a slider. He said, well, go take your uniform off. You can't pitch. 1-1. Then he said, later on in the game, after you've seen him a couple times, drop down from the side. I did, and he whistled a 3-iron into the bleachers in left field. Took a long time to get over that one. Just to right field, Bonilla's got a bead on it. Glass is gleaming, and he makes the catch. That's 4 in a row set down by Saberhagen. 2 outs in the 4th inning. I think much like we saw with Philadelphia today. Remember, Mariano Duncan had his glasses outside of his hat. I think they had an incident here last week where somebody forgot their glasses and it cost him a play. Fly ball to center. Looks like it's going to be a very quiet, easy inning for Saberhagen. It is. Braves go 1, 2, 3, and quietly. We played 3.5. Still Atlanta on top.
Braves trying to win the rubber game of this 3-game series here at Shea Stadium. Day off for everybody tomorrow, and then we're back your way on Tuesday night from Cincinnati. That will be Tom Glavine against Tom Browning at 7:30 Eastern Time from Riverfront Stadium. Hope you'll be with us then on TBS.
In TV talk, is that called popping Tuesday night?
That's what it's called, yes.
Oh, boy.
Give you a little pop.
Coleman will lead it off. Coleman, O'Brien, and Murray. Appetizing lines at the concession stands here.
Well put.
Oh, and 1 to Coleman. That ground ball went to Terry Pendleton. First time Coleman was up. A tricky hop and a nice play by Terry, who's already had a busy day, offensively and defensively.
Steve's rearing back and fogging it, isn't he?
And not wasting any time. I don't know about you. I don't know how you feel about hitters, how they should work up there, but pitchers seem like the guys who get on a roll and pitch effectively are the ones who get the ball and throw the ball. To center field, Nixon will have to go back a couple of steps. A lot of room out there, and he's got it. That's 8 in a row set down by Steve Avery. His performance today kind of resembling that of Greg Maddux the other night.
Another thing about working quickly, when you get in the box as a hitter and you know a guy's ready to come right after you, it immediately puts you a little bit in a defensive posture, because you want to take your time getting set in the box, make sure you're comfortable, and all of a sudden the guy's already in his windup. Throws you off a little bit.
That'll get out of play. O'Brien's single. He has the only base hit the Mets have gotten, and it's 0-1. How about when you're playing defense? What does it do?
Keeps you sharp, keeps you on your toes, eliminates daydreaming.
Bounces this one up there to Avery, and it's 1-1. If you're a hitter and a guy like Avery is working quickly, what do you do to counteract it?
Same thing the Braves did to Omar Olivares when he was pitching for the Cardinals this year. That you got to step out and make sure that you're the one that's ready to go. And sometimes you have to ask the umpire to give you a little help too. He's got to throw that stop sign up, make sure the pitcher doesn't start into his windup until you're set.
1-2 to O'Brien. Buys himself a little time by walking around the home plate area. Charlie working on his Pete Fountain look. Got him. Perfect pitch. Perfect spot. Not a whole lot anybody could do with that one. That's strikeout number 3 for Avery.
And with Eddie Murray, well, first of all, we'll take a look at the pitch right where Greg Olson wanted it. Eddie Murray strolling to the plate. This Met ball club, we talked about Dallas Green having his work cut out for him to bring them all together. Well, here's part of the reason why. 10 former All-Stars on this ball club, including 5 pitchers, 5 everyday players. Sid Fernandez on the DL right now.
Ball 1 to Murray. Well, wait a minute. I thought you wanted all-star performers on ball club.
Well, it's a great assembly of talent. It's just a matter of getting them pulling together, playing together, and being having the same object in mind, and that's to win. And perhaps there's a little bit of selfishness on this ball club.
That'll get out of play, and it's 1-1. So talent alone won't get it done.
Braves have won the last 2 years, and they don't have anywhere near that kind of all-star representation on their ball club, especially the '91 season.
A ball and a strike to Eddie Murray. He's up over 300. 5 homers and 24 RBIs. Good change up from Avery.
I've always felt like desire and dedication will overcome a lack of talent. And certainly the Braves have proven that the last couple of years, because there have been other ball clubs that perhaps had better lineups assembled on the field, Mets included.
Did he go? No, he didn't, and it's 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the 4th. Braves on top, 2-0. A little too much time for Murray. Two change-ups in a row. One for a strike swinging, one just out of the strike zone. Do you try it again? Tries to paint out there with a fastball, and it's 3-2.
The thing about Eddie Murray that always surprised me was that last year in Los Angeles, he had 260, 19 homers, 96 RBIs, and they pretty much thought he was done.
A little looper to center. A long run for Nixon. Still coming, still coming. He's got it. Otis Nixon eats up a lot of real estate in center field. That's a nice running catch. It's another 1-2-3 inning for Avery. He's now set down 10 in a row. Into 4. Braves on top. For kids of all ages, another good crowd here at Shea Stadium. Braves on top 2-0. Got ourselves a good pitching duel going between Steve Avery and Brett Saberhagen. Otis Nixon will lead it off. He's 0 for 2, a strikeout and a pop to third. Lays off that high one this time, and it's 1-0.
Just nothing quite like day baseball. Just get you a little more invigorated to play a pretty day like this.
Saberhagen will make the play. One gone. I think Nixon wanted that about 6 feet farther than it ended up.
He had committed himself to try to drag it with him, but the ball was running away from him. So it's hard to reach out then and bring it with you when you've got to reach back and turn the angle of your bat to the first base side. And certainly he wanted it closer to the line, a little bit harder past Saberhagen. Get him next time.
Blauser's been on twice. He got hit by a pitch. He reached on an error. He has scored both of the runs. 2-0 Braves. Joe Simpson, Don Sutton with you. Skip and Pete will be over in a second to take you the rest of the way.
Something about the way Gooden pitched yesterday and Saberhagen's pitching today makes it look like it's not quite 60 feet 6 inches. It looks a little shorter than that.
Howard Johnson will make the play on this one, and Blauser's gone. And Saberhagen ringing up a little string of his own. That's 7 in a row. The Mets right-hander is set down.
Another good angle for you on that hot shot by Blauser. Going to play the hot corner and play in on the grass. You got to be willing to react quickly and not be afraid to get in front of the baseball.
2 outs for Terry Pendleton. Pendleton popped to third his first time up, but he executed the hit and run as pretty as you want last time up. Comes up empty on that one. That's a get over curve ball, only a little bit slower, a little bit bigger.
What makes it so effective to a hitter is that with that good fastball, it's set up with the heat.
There is the heat, but it's up and away. A ball and a strike.
I mentioned a bunch of awards and marks in Saberhagen's career. I left out the fact that he also threw a no-hitter back in '91 against the White Sox.
Changeup puts Pendleton in a hole, 1-2.
Not much he hasn't accomplished, and he just turned 29.
Grounder to short. Fernandez will play the big hop. He'll throw out Pendleton. We have settled into a pitching duel. Saberhagen is now set down 8 in a row. We're halfway home. Braves on top 2-0.
And the much maligned Bobby Bonilla leads it up.
Yeah, one of the things that both Bobby Wine and Dallas Green are going to try to do here is just get Bonilla to try to relax, get his game going, try to get these fans off his back.
I don't know how they can do that. 1 ball, no strikes. Hot shot up the middle. Lemke had him played perfectly. 1 down. Good play. That ball was sharply hit. They still boo it.
Up next, the baseman, Howard Johnson.
Lemke, you can see how close to the bag he's playing already with Bonilla batting right-handed, so he didn't have that far to go. Positioning your defense. That's the responsibility of Jimmy Williams, the Braves coach. And it paid off that time for an out.
Howard Johnson is the batter. 11 in a row knocked over by Steve Avery. Upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes.
One of the little ironies of this series, the Braves are positioning their defense for the New York Mets based on scouting reports that were turned into them by Bobby Wine, who is now coaching for the New York Mets. But it was the advanced scout for the Braves just 3 days ago.
That's upstairs. 2-0 the count to Hojo. He lined hard to Pendleton his first time. Dallas Green looks on from the New York dugout. There's some who feel he's only going to manage this team for a year and then move into the front office and that Bobby will get that job. We shall see what happens. Johnson doesn't get that. 2 balls, 1 strike. So today there's no score sheet at all, eh? In the other games?
We have one.
2 balls, 1 strike.
There's just nothing on it.
Oh. The 2-1 pitch. Here it is. Just missed the outside corner. It's 3-1.
The heart of the Mets order has not hurt the Braves the last 2 years.
The heart of the Mets order has made a lot of money the last 2 years. It hasn't hurt many people. That's why they've been as bad as they've been. That one knocked the mask right off Greg Olson, but he's all right. It's 3-2. And a payoff pitch is due the New York third baseman. Cleveland has tied Detroit 2-2 at the end of 4. Milwaukee after 3.5, 3-0 over Baltimore. Minnesota Toronto 1-1 after 4. And here comes the 3-2 pitch. He lined it to Pendleton again. He's got to try somebody else. 2 down. And Avery continues to roll merrily along. He has faced the minimum. He has allowed 1 hit, if you joined us late. A first inning looping single to right center.
And again, positioning the defense pays off here. Look how close to a line Pendleton is playing for Howard Johnson. Ball's hit right to him.
Jeff Kent, a strikeout victim, his first time at a 2-run homer here yesterday. Out in front, 0-1. Avery is pitching by far his best game of the year, I think. Best one I can recall. You can't pitch much better than he is today. He has but a 2-run lead. 0-2. He's quickly out in front of Kent again.
He's only thrown 49 pitches to this point.
Early in April, he had an 8-inning shutout against the Giants before he left the game. That was the Sports South contest. Out in front, pulled foul. Still 0-2. Incidentally, those of you who were watching yesterday or listening, it was a 15-year-old girl that was hit by that foul ball off the bat of Vince Coleman, and she was hospitalized overnight in New York. Just missed the corner. Braves center an autographed baseball, and apparently everything's okay. The 1-2 just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tony Fernandez waits to hit next. They're 2 out in the inning. Stays alive, still 2-2. Well, how'd y'all like the fight last night on HBO?
It was quick.
Oh. My wife's listening. We can make a lot of money. We have better fights than that all the time. The inning is over. Kent is out on strikes again. Strikeout number 4 for Avery, who continues to breeze along. 13 in a row have been retired. At the end of 5, Braves lead it 2-0. David Justice leads it off. Tom Seaver won.
I believe so.
Mike Scott, maybe.
Justice doesn't get the first one. David doubled in a run, hit one off the top of the center field wall in the first, singled in a run in the third. It was Jeff Blauser both times. Pop foul back and out of play.
Here are your Micaton National League home run leaders going into today's game. Matt Williams of the Giants on top. David Justice with his 10th homer today, now tied for 3rd. 10th homer yesterday.
Started to go, held off. 1-2 is the count. So your daily double in the 6th is Miketon and Affleck. Meanwhile, back at the game, a fly ball to center field. Gallagher with the glasses down. 1 out. They finally get justice. Here's Ron Gant. Gant has walked and lined hard to center.
Told me yesterday he is the most comfortable he has been at the plate in the last 2 years.
If somebody could figure out how you get going good and or how you get going bad, they could make a fortune. Let up. Good pitch. 0-1. 1 out, nobody aboard. We're in the 6th. And the Braves lead it 2-0. I'm sure Don and Joe discussed the latest on the Deion Sanders and his teammates front. Otis was upset yesterday that he didn't play. Was quoted in the New York papers as saying, how can he take my job? He missed a month. I don't envy Bobby Cox the position he's in at the moment.
And the reception by Deion's teammates has been somewhat cool this weekend. He's going to have to work to win back the same situation with his teammates that he had before his departure.
A ball and 2 strikes. Pop foul back. So somebody's going to be unhappy now, as it was early in the year. Somebody's going to be unhappy every day. You want players who want to play, but when you have 4 talented outfielders, you want to keep them all sharp, and so they all have to be used.
And Bobby Cox defended Otis Nixon, saying that I want all my players to want to play every day.
Chop to third. A 1-hopper to Johnson. 2 down. Here's Sid Bream, 0 for 2. He struck out and flied to right. As you look ahead to the future, and by the way, there were stories in the New York press that Deion has signed a 3-year contract. Our understanding is he has not signed. He has agreed to it, and I would assume that will be taken care of, the official signing of it, when the team returns to Atlanta. Here's the pitch to Bream. It's low. You know, you look ahead. Ryan Klesko, if he continues to have a good year, is going to be pushing for playing time, and you already have Bream and Hunter at first. Ramon Caraballo is going to be pushing for playing time. You already have Lemke at second. That one rattled the cage of Charlie O'Brien.
Chipper Jones
at shortstop, where Blauser is having the year of his life. The third baseman down there, Jose Oliva, probably not quite ready. He's sitting around 200. But then you have Nieves and Tarasco in the outfield.
And Mike Kelly.
Mike Kelly hitting some home runs, a low average, but a great outfielder. So the problems we're seeing now are going to do nothing but magnify or increase as time goes on, and that's good. That's a great compliment to the organization. Base hit Bream. It's still a problem for the ball club, but it's a better situation than what we used to have, where we couldn't find 25 warm bodies.
And it will allow the Braves to be a little more flexible with their salaries, because you're coming close now to the years when guys like Ron Gant and David Justice will be eligible for free agency. And with some of the long-term contracts the pitchers have already signed, if the Braves feel that they can't afford to give long-term contracts to the everyday players when they become eligible, you've got enough young players coming up that can step in and hopefully take their place if they move elsewhere. So you're pretty well protected against players becoming free agents and leaving and signing somewhere else.
Bream scrambles back.
Saberhagen, pretty good move to first base.
Knocked Olsen off the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. 2-0 Atlanta in the 6th.
Javi Lopez, another that's rushing for playing time.
And Tyler Houston hitting 400 in Double-A as a platoon player. High and inside again. 2-0 the count. Two balls, no strikes. Runner at first, 2 down. High and inside. It's 3-0. O'Brien thought he had a strike there, but Mark Barron says no, and Saberhagen says, where was that? And now Tony Fernandez comes in, probably going to tell him to cool it. He really showed the umpire up there. He spread his arms wide as if to say, how could you possibly call that a ball? 3 balls, no strikes. There's a strike right in there. 3-1 the count. We are in the 6th. It's 2-0 Atlanta. Phillies still 5-1 over Montreal as the Phils bat in the 3rd. There goes the runner. Swung. A high fly ball. Pretty well hit left field. Back goes Coleman. Back goes Gallagher. It's Gallagher who makes the catch at the 371-foot mark. And the inning is over. Olsen just about got it out of here. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, 1 left. We go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Your score remains Braves 2, Mets nothing.
Our Aflac trivia question today: since 1968, who are the 3 National League pitchers with 19 strikeouts in a game? If you remembered, Steve Carlton, Tom Seaver, David Cone. The Tom Seaver performance came against the San Diego Padres.
Here's Fernandez to lead off the bottom of the 6th. Then he pops it up, and Bream should have that in foul territory. 1 pitch, 1 out. 14 in a row set down by Avery. Dave Gallagher is the batter. So the right-hand hitter stands in there. Braves fly out of here after the game and head for Cincinnati. Probably get there about the same time our cab driver does. Little chop over the pitcher's head. That's a tough play. Can Blauser make it? Yes, sir. Good play. 2 out. 15 in a row. That bears repeating.
A terrific play by Jeff Blauser, whose defense has been as impressive as his offense this year. Got a good jump in the ball. And a quick release onto first in time to get Gallagher. Throwing off the wrong foot.
Oh, and 1 is the count to Saberhagen. We had a cabbie today that not only didn't know where Shea Stadium was.
He didn't know where LaGuardia was.
How can you be a cab driver and not know how to get to the airport? He tries to bunt his way on, fouls it off at 0-2.
The thought has occurred to me that if he is trying to get back to Manhattan, he may not be back there. He could be anywhere. He's liable to be in Pennsylvania. There he is.
You might be in the upper deck. Inning over. Saberhagen has a shot at Mark Barron. The inning comes to a close, and you know what he's saying. Call those for me. 1, 2, 3, nothing doing at the end of 6. 2-0 Atlanta.
Well, we saw Brett Saberhagen in the top half of the 6th inning complain about the lack of a strike call by plate umpire Mark Barron. This time he complains about 1 call while he's hitting.
And Mark Lemke leads off the Atlanta 7th, and the first pitch bounces up there. 1 ball, no strikes.
When we showed you the answer to that Aflac trivia question, Tom Seaver's 19 strikeout game came against the San Diego Padres. Dave Campbell, now a broadcaster with ESPN, was on that San Diego team. That's the famous story. He struck out 1 time. John McSherry, the plate umpire, and Campbell was called out on strikes and turned to John and said, that one sounded high.
A ball and a strike to count. Dave's one of a couple of really good announcers that the Padres let go. Rick Monday being another one, but both have landed on their feet, doing very well. 2 balls and a strike to count to Lemke. High fly, twisting foul down the left side. Coleman is over and cannot make the play. Lemke has struck out and flied out. They took his picture at the same place they took Blauser's picture. We keep trying to figure out these shots on the message board, how they come up with it. Ground ball right through the wicket and into center field. So Lemke gets the 7th inning started in good fashion. And he'll give Steve Avery a chance to bunt the runner over. And if Steve is successful in that, Nixon and Blauser will have a chance to drive home an insurance run. Runner at first, leadoff man on, nobody out. We'll be with you at 7:30 Tuesday night from Cincinnati. Tom Glavine and Tom Browning will pitch that one. Howard Johnson is, as you see, in very close at third base already. Avery bunts it back toward the mound. There's a play at second, but he passes it up, throws to first. I think he would have had him had he gone to second base, but it's a 1-4 sacrifice. Avery does his job. And now we're a base hit away from a 3-0 lead.
Some pitchers will tell you when they're fielding a bunt and they have to run toward the first baseline, if they're a right-hander, it's a very awkward throw for them to make. They have to turn and throw to second even when they have a play there. And they'll pass it up and take the short out at first. I agree. I think he would have had a shot at Lemke at second if he elected to go that way.
Well, let's see if we can make them pay. Nixon 0 for 3 is struck out, popped out, and tapped to the mound. They didn't get that high fastball. 0-1. They play him shallow and around toward left. Tapped right back to the mound. They've got Lemke hung up. Run him toward third. Tag him out there. Now they got Nixon hung up. Howard Johnson runs at him. Johnson may be hurt. Nixon makes it back to first. Johnson is still on his knees. And the Mets really butchered that play, didn't they?
Yeah, this should have been a double play. They had both runners hung up and they only get one of them. Fernandez will chase Lemke right until Lemke gets in front of Howard Johnson. He applies the tag. Now with Nixon hung up near the bag at second. Hojo might have turned his ankle when he fell down there, flipping the ball to Jeff Kent. Kent chasing Otis Nixon and then trying to flip the ball. Looked like the ball hit off Saberhagen. There's Hojo going down. Watch his left ankle sort of give on him there. That may be the problem he's having, but it looked like a little toss by Jeff Kent hit off Saberhagen.
High fastball missed by Blauser.
Then came right back to him. So a real break for the Braves with Nixon still on base.
If Hojo becomes a two-sport athlete, defensive back is not going to be his position. Otis sort of blew right by him there. 0-1 is the count to Blauser, hitting at .353. He scored both Atlanta runs today, though he is hitless. Reached on an air, hit by a pitch, bounced out. Otis came up a little gingerly after that wild play himself, but he appears to be all right. Bounced foul, and he's behind 0-2. We're in the top of the 7th. It's 2-0 Atlanta. Runner at first, 2 down. Throw to first, close, but he's back. Glavine and Browning Tuesday night. Maddox and Belcher Wednesday night. Smoltz and Rijo Thursday. And then the Braves come home for 3 over the weekend with the Giants, then 4 with the Padres. Upstairs, a ball and 2 strikes. Runner at first, 2 down. Blauser waits in the 1-2 pitch. Instead, the first almost threw it away. Nixon scrambles back. Marlins still lead the Cubs 2-1 after 5. Cardinals and Pirates 1-1 after 5. Phillies bat in the 4th, leading Montreal 5-1. The other National League action is later on. Kirby fought it off. Count stays, a ball and 2 strikes. Blauser stands back in. The stretch. Throw to first. Did he balk? He did. Runner to second. Saberhagen didn't come set. And he balks the insurance run to second base. Howard Johnson in for a word with his pitcher.
Well, we'll see if he comes to a full stop here. This is the balk call by Jerry Lane. It looked like he came to a full stop. I think his footwork on the throw to first is what caused that balk. Looked like he stepped a little bit toward home plate first.
Now Stottlemyre to the mound for a word with his pitcher just to settle him down. For a veteran, he's really flipped here a couple times.
Yeah, he has. Taking another look here. See if he does that little jump or whether the foot starts toward home plate first. Yeah, he took that little step toward home and then turned. And that's the balk call by Jerry Lane.
Stottlemyre heads back to the New York dugout. And a 1-2 pitch to Jeff Blauser will unfold here.
Now Stottlemyre has gone through a lot of managers in this Mets club.
He sure has. And who was here when he first came?
I think Davy Johnson.
That's right.
Bud Harrelson. Jeff Torborg, and now Dallas Green.
Saberhagen bluffs towards second.
Says a lot for Stottlemyre, though, to consider that all 4 managers wanted to keep him as pitching coach.
Curve, a little tap over the pitcher's head. Fernandez in, throws. He is safe. Throw back to third. He is safe. And Blauser races to second. There's nobody covering the bag. An alert play by Blauser.
And Howard Johnson could have held Jeff Blauser at first if he had called timeout before arguing with third base umpire Charlie Relaford, but he never called time. That happened to David Cohn once when he was pitching for the New York Mets against Atlanta. He got an argument with the first base umpire and 2 runs scored while he was arguing. So some heady play by Jeff Blauser. First he hustles down the line to beat out the throw there. Nixon rounding the bag at third. Eddie Murray thinks he can get him. Now watch Howard Johnson. When the safe call is made, he'll immediately start arguing with Charlie Relaford. Never calls timeout. And while all this is going on, Jeff Blauser is waltzing down to second base.
It's a single for Blauser. He goes to second on a fielder's choice. Pendleton back to the mound, and out of all that, the Braves get nothing. 2 hits, no runs, no errors, 2 left. We go to the bottom of the 7th. 2-0 Atlanta.
Still 2-0 Atlanta as we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Reminder on TNT, the conference finals are underway. And the Western Conference Finals Game 1, Seattle and Phoenix, 9 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night on TNT.
Top of the order here in the bottom of the 7th. Vince Coleman leads it off for New York.
I want to congratulate the Houston Rockets on their season. I know it's a disappointing day, the day after you get knocked out of the playoffs, but to go from where they were a year ago to where they are this year in the tough battle against Seattle. They're to be congratulated. Carol Dawson, one of their assistant coaches, a big Braves fan, watches a lot of our games.
Boy, a couple of big calls went against them late, too. Coleman stands in there. Bottom half of the 7th inning. A little bit outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Avery has been brilliant, but he's got only 2 runs to work with. Lined into left center field. Nobody's going to get that, I don't think, but Nixon does. He absolutely outran that ball. What a play. 1 out. He proved me wrong there. You forget how fast he is. What a play.
He was shading Coleman over in right center field. And this ball's not hit that high. This is more like a line drive to left center. It looked like a surefire triple when it left the bat, but look at Otis outrun that ball.
Oh, what a play. 1 down, and here's the villain of the piece. If you're a Braves fan, Charlie O'Brien came into the game hitting 103 and singled in the first, and that has been the only base runner. High pop, short left center. Blauser calls for that one. 2 down. Avery continues to breeze through the Mets, and here is Eddie Murray. 2-6-0 for Atlanta, 0-1-1 for New York. Murray has hit into a double play and fly to center.
Avery's only thrown 63 pitches in this one.
Wow, that's amazing. And he's ahead of yet another hitter. It's 0-1. Murray has wrapped into a double play and has flied to center. Steve has faced the minimum here with 2 out in the bottom of the 7th. The 0-1 pitch. Pulled the string on him. 0-2. Two out, nobody aboard. It's the 21st batter Avery has faced. That's the minimum. He has given up a hit. That should end the 7th. Hop, skip, throw. 1, 2, 3. Nothing doing. We go to the 8th. Braves 2-0. A quick look at the Delta scoreboard. The Phillies got 5 in the first against Gil Heredia. The Cards and Pirates are tied. Florida by 1. Jack Armstrong, the pitcher, drove in both their runs. The other action later on, American League, Toronto has the lead. So does Milwaukee. Albert Bell is at his 15th home run for Cleveland. Oakland, an early lead and no score at Texas. That's the Delta scoreboard. Here we go to the 8th inning. Braves on top by 2. And to bring you the rest of the way, once again, here's Pete Van Wieren.
Okay, thank you, Skip. It'll be David Justice who's driven in both the runs for the Braves today, leading off and taking ball 1. He has doubled, singled, and flied out. He's had a good couple of days. Greg Maddox's brother Mike beginning to loosen up now in the New York Mets bullpen. Deep to right field, but foul by Justice. A double, a single, 2 RBIs today. Yesterday, a double and a 422-foot homer, which hit off the scoreboard in right. So David with some good swings the last 2 days. That's hit hard to left field. Vince Coleman is there, 1 down. And now Ron Gant, who has walked, fly to center and grounded out to third. He takes a strike from Saberhagen. 0-1. Nothing into the count on Ron Gant. We've seen some outstanding starting pitching in this series. Greg Maddux on Friday night. Dwight Gooden yesterday, and both these guys today, Brett Saberhagen and Steve Avery, putting on a show, especially Avery. That'll be out of play. Still 0-2 on Ron Gant. A ball and 2 strikes, 1 out, bases empty, top of the 8th, 2-0 Atlanta. Braves trying to win their 5th straight series. They swept Colorado in 4, took 2 out of 3 at Houston, 2 out of 3 from Philadelphia, 2 out of 3 from Montreal. Now trying to make it 2 out of 3 over the Mets. And that's into right center field. Base hit for Ron Gant. He's now hit safely in 6 straight games. And that's hit number 7 off Saberhagen.
Nice job of hitting by Gant. He sort of spreads out here to protect the plate. And he didn't really hit that ball on the sweet spot, but he's so strong, he just muscled it into right center.
Sid Bream 1 for 3, had a single his last time up.
Montreal on the comeback trail, Pete. They have scored 3. It's now 5-4 as they bat in the 5th. They're still batting.
Nothing and 1 the count in Bream. Montreal 4.5 behind the Phillies going into today's game. They're trying to win their 3rd straight over the Phils. Missing outside, a ball and a strike, and Sid Bream. Mets have to play the Phillies next in Philadelphia. That'll be a return for Dallas Green to a place where he once managed a world champion Philadelphia Phillies team. A note in the New York paper this morning when Dallas Green was named the new manager of the New York Mets. The headline in the Philadelphia Daily News was "Dallas in Blunderland."
Rather clever, actually.
Here's the 1-1. Outside corner for a strike, 1-2.
You know, Pete, the Braves are 13-6 this month, and they've lost a half game to the Giants. That's how well Dusty Baker's club is playing.
The Giants are red hot. San Francisco, 1 more win than Atlanta this month. That'll be a big series back in Atlanta next weekend. 2-2 now on Sid Bream. And again, we'll point out that since you're not playing the teams in your own division as frequently as you used to with the new balanced schedule, those series become even more important when you're going head-to-head with a team you're trying to catch. There goes Gant, the 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. O'Brien, a great arm. But missing the tag was Tony Fernandez. Ball had him beat, but it came up on Fernandez a little bit. He came up to get the ball, and Gant slid right under his glove. Stolen base for Ron Gant on the strikeout of Sid Bream.
His 7th of the year in 12 attempts. The throw, I think, short hopped, and that made Fernandez's glove come up. Yeah, that's what it was, and it was just enough. Boy, he got a break. Very close down here.
So Gant in scoring position with 2 down for Greg Olson. Olson 0 for 3, a couple of ground outs and a fly out to deep center. And he takes a strike in the outside corner, 0-1. It's even, 1 ball, 1 strike. Braves have been involved in a lot of games like these this year. The Braves have played 5 games where the final score was 1-0. They've won 2 of them, lost 3 of them. They're leading 2-0 here. That ball hit deep to center field. Gallagher's going to run it down, though, and that'll do it for Atlanta. In the 8th inning, they leave a runner at second. They go to the bottom of the 8th. Still 2-0 Braves. We're going to the bottom half of the 8th inning. The only damage done against Steve Avery in this game came in the very first inning. Charlie O'Brien with 1 out. And a 1-0 count. Looping a single into right field. He was quickly erased when Eddie Murray hit into a 5-4-3 double play. Since that base hit by O'Brien, nothing but outs recorded by Avery. And a called strike to Bobby Bonilla. 19 in a row retired now by Steve Avery, leading at 2-0. It's even. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sharply hit. It came up on Pendleton. He can't find it. And Bonilla reaches. That must have hit the heel of his glove, and he must have thought it caromed into the air.
Yeah, that's the first thing he does here is look up. Ball comes up on him a little bit, and it's at his feet, and by the time he realizes that, he's got no shot.
So Bonilla aboard. And they're going to score that a base hit. Hit number 2 off Avery. Here's Howard Johnson, who twice is lined out to third.
Now the fans here boo the official scorer because he gave Bonilla a hit.
They are tough. Inside corner for a strike. 0-1. Avery's best performance in a major league game. He went 8 innings, allowed 3 hits to the San Francisco Giants back on April 17th. He's working on a 2-hitter here. And a miss is low outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And that was a very generous piece of scoring. You give him a hit on that. Scoring is something I wish somebody would address, because it's very inconsistent around the league.
One ball, 1 strike on Howard Johnson. Nobody out here in the 8th. The Braves bullpen begins to operate. Greg McMichael, the right-hander. Mike Stanton, the lefty. And the 1-1 delivery. Beautiful breaking ball for a strike in the inside corner. It's 1-2.
He just freezes him with that right at the knees on the inside corner. Perfect pitch.
Avery still has thrown only 72 pitches to this point. We're in the 8th inning. 48 of the 72 pitches he has thrown for strikes. Here's the 1-2. Got him with a fastball. A half dozen strikeouts for Avery. 1 gone.
The big breaking curveball for strike 2, and then Powder River, low fastball.
And here's Jeff Kent, who has struck out twice. Bonilla, the runner at first, with 1 out. Off the end of the bat, and it trickles foul. 0-1. You can see how close the grass is cut to the foul lines here. There's hardly any room between the edge of the grass and the foul line. If a ball is rolling off that grass, there's no way it can stay fair. Only a couple of inches away from the foul line.
Sort of an ant's eye view we give you here.
Nothing in one on Jeff Kent. Now the Phillies have upped their lead over Montreal to 7-4. Philadelphia is still batting in the bottom of the 5th. Fastball missing high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Again, positioning. Otis Nixon had him played in left center, and that's right where Ken hit the ball for out number 2. Crowd today of 35,734 on hand. And the batter will be Tony Fernandez. Braves have a meeting before the first game of every series. And they talk about how they're going to pitch the hitters, what to look for if you're a hitter from the opposing pitchers, and also how the defense is to play against every hitter. Jimmy Williams, all those signals mean something to the defense. Scouting reports of former Braves advance scout Bobby Wine combined with Jimmy Guadagno's history of how the Mets hitters have put the ball in play against the Braves. That's where they come up with the defensive design. Ball one outside to Tony Fernandez. It's 2-0. Baseball's gotten so much more sophisticated the last 20 years or so with all the computerized charts that are kept.
And there's a fine line there between not doing enough of it and maybe doing overanalyzing of it.
2-0 the count on Fernandez. 2 men out. And it's 3-0 now on Tony Fernandez. Avery hasn't walked anybody. In fact, he has only had a 3-ball count on 1, 2, 3 hitters in the game. Here's a 3-0 pitch on the way, and that's in there for a strike. 3-1. You'd like to get Tony Fernandez here because then you've got the 8, 9, and 1 hitters to worry about in the 9th inning, not the middle of the order. Here's the 3-1 pitch on the way, and he lost him. And Mets runners are at first and second. First walk issued by Avery. And only the 14th walk he has issued all year in 66 and a third innings. Stanton and McMichael getting ready in the Atlanta bullpen as Dave Gallagher steps in. He's grounded to short twice. To Gallagher. Bonilla down at second. Fernandez the runner at first. Terry Pendleton's going to come over and have a chat with Avery.
Gallagher's 1 home run was a real rocket shot in St. Louis. He hit it about 420 feet, so he's got some power.
He had a 9-game hitting streak. until his pinch hit appearance yesterday. He's been a hot hitter. Again to short. Blauser to Lemke. And that's all for the Mets in the 8th. So they get a couple of base runners, and that's it. We go to the 9th inning. Still 2-0 Atlanta. Going to the top of the 9th, still 2-0. Braves are off tomorrow. We're back with you on Tuesday night here on TBS. First of a 3-game series with the Cincinnati Reds, 7:30 Eastern Time. Tom Glavine against Tom Browning in the first game of that series. And Mark Lemke will lead off the 9th here for Atlanta. Deion Sanders has come out on deck, so Steve Avery is going to be pinch hit for. And in all likelihood, Mike Stanton will come on to pitch the bottom of the 9th.
Has to be a blister or something, doesn't it?
Hasn't thrown many pitches. 83 through 8 innings. Lemke first pitch swinging. Ball took a funny hop, but Kent stays with it. 1 out in the top of the 9th. And that'll bring up Deion Sanders.
Ladies and gentlemen, batting with official Steve Avery will be number 24, Deion Sanders.
Deion 0 for 4 in yesterday's game. Hitting .250 on the year. Takes the ball high.
Want to wish a happy birthday to Louise Nichols, looking in Denver, North Carolina. She's the grandma of Ashley Gallagher, one of our fine graphics people.
Inside corner for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Due up in the Mets half of the 9th inning will be the pitcher's spot. Then the top of the order, Vince Coleman and Charlie O'Brien. Good changeup from Saberhagen. 1-2 now on Deion Sanders. That'll be out of play. Still a ball and 2 strikes. So Steve Avery pitching really a career best game. He had given up 3 hits in a previous start this year to the San Francisco Giants. No better than a 4-hitter in his previous years with Atlanta. Allows only 2 hits and no runs through 8 innings in this one. And it's still 1-2 on Deion. Sanders out of there on strikes. Strikeout number 6 for Saberhagen. Out number 2 in the top of the 9th. And back to the top of the order now, Otis Nixon, who is 0 for 4 on the afternoon. A ball low. Play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Saberhagen has pitched a good ball game. He's given up 7 hits. Only 1 of the 2 runs is earned. 6 strikeouts. Only 1 walk. But trailing 2-0 here in the 9th inning. Into right center field. Long run for Gallagher, and he makes a sliding catch out there in right center for out number 3. Good play, Dave Gallagher. And we go to the bottom half of the 9th inning. It'll be Mike Stanton coming on to pitch the 9th for Atlanta. Still 2-0 Braves. Changes for the Braves as we go to the bottom half of the ninth inning with Atlanta leading 2-0. Rafael Belliard takes over at short for Jeff Blauser, and the league leader in saves, Mike Stanton, making his 23rd appearance out of the Atlanta bullpen. 16 saves and 16 save opportunities, and a chance for number 17 here, trying to preserve it for Steve Avery. And leading it off for the Mets here in the bottom of the ninth will be Jeff McKnight, pinch hitting for Brett Saberhagen. McKnight on the year, hitting just 143. He is 2 for 8 as a pinch hitter. Just changed his uniform number. Bobby Wine, who just joined Dallas Green's staff, asked for number 7, which McKnight was wearing.
He's had 5 different numbers, I think it is, in 55 games, or something like that.
5th different uniform number Jeff McKnight has worn. And the first pitch on the way from Mike Stanton. A ball downstairs. Two 2-0 Atlanta, bottom of the ninth. Braves trying to make it 2 out of 3 over the Mets and trying to win their 5th consecutive series. In for a strike, 1-1. Avery worked 8 innings, allowed 2 hits, no runs, walked 1, struck out 6. Inside corner. It's 1-2. Here's an odd one for you. You'd think the way the New York Mets have been playing, they'd have been in this situation before. They have not been shut out yet this year. The 1-2 on the way. Breaking ball just missed inside. 2-2. Of their 14 victories, the Mets have pitched 5 shutouts, but nobody has shut out the Mets to this point. Braves have a chance to do that here. Here's the 2-2 to McKnight on the ground short. Rafael Belliard. 1 down. And back to the top of the order now. Vince Coleman. He's only faced Stanton once in his career. He's 0 for 1. Stanton's gotten a lot of work this year. We mentioned this is his 23rd game, but he hasn't pitched a lot lately. Has not pitched since the 17th. Over the head of Terry Pendleton down the left field line for Vince Coleman. Heading for second, Ron Gant gets the ball back to the infield. It's a 1-out double for Vince Coleman. Hit number 3 for New York for Coleman, his 8th double of the year.
Well, you have to play in against this guy because of his great speed. At a normal position, that's an easy play for Pendleton, but you can't blame anybody for that. Just a good piece of hitting.
Sometimes the defensive positioning works against you, too.
But if you play back, he's going to bunt his way on. You got the same situation, tying run at the plate.
And that is Charlie O'Brien, 1 for 3. Had that single off Avery in the first inning. Since then, he has struck out and popped to short. Coleman is running. There's a ground ball fair down the left field line by O'Brien. Coleman will score. O'Brien's going to try for 2. Gant come up with it cleanly. And O'Brien's able to go in standing. It's 2-1 with a potential tying run down at second. And still only 1 out. O'Brien's 3rd RBI of the year. And now we get to the meat of the Mets order, Eddie Murray.
There's another look at it. That time you can wonder a little bit. Normally you guard the line to keep the tying run from getting into scoring position. Still, if Gant comes up with the ball, I think he's got a great chance to throw him out at second base.
Bobby Cox on his way to the mound. They've got a pinch runner down at second base, Wayne Housey. So the Mets still have a heartbeat. A runner at second, one out. A one-run lead for Atlanta here in the bottom of the ninth. And here is Eddie Murray. 0 for 3 on the afternoon. He is 1 for 11 in his career against Mike Stanton. Murray this year has been a better right-hand hitter. 372 right-handed, 281 left-handed.
Look at how he's doing on the first pitch. Pretty good.
Up and in, ball one. It's even. 1 ball, 1 strike, and he had a pitch to hit there. That's Greg McMichael ready if needed out in the Atlanta bullpen. We've got switch hitters, Eddie Murray, Bobby Bonilla, Howard Johnson due up. Here's the 1-1 breaking ball. He had another pitch to hit, and he pulled that one foul. It's 1-2.
It's getting a little shaky here, folks. He's not exactly fooling him.
Murray hitting much better as a right-hand hitter. The on-deck hitter Bobby Bonilla hitting 275 right-handed, just 204 left-handed. Howard Johnson's been a better left-hand hitter. A pickoff play on at second. No throw made by Stanton. 1 man out, 1 run in. It's 2-1 Atlanta. Bottom half of the 9th inning. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Murray. Missed outside. 2-2. Here's the 2-2 on the way. Foul back. Still 2-2. You look at all the members of the New York Mets. The guy who's given Mike Stanton the most trouble is the on-deck hitter Bobby Bonilla. He's 2 for 6 in his career against Mike. Murray, as we mentioned, just 1 for 11. But he's had some good swings this at bat. The 2-2 in the air to right. David Justice is there. He's got it. Holding at second, Wayne Housey. There are 2 men out now with a runner at second base, and Bobby Bonilla will be the hitter. Bonilla, an infield hit in the 8th inning, 1 for 3. And when the fans have been on you for 2 years, it seems like you're always hitting in this spot. 2 outs in the 9th, down by a run.
He won a game for him against the Pirates right before Jeff Torborg got fired in this same spot.
2-1 Atlanta, 2 outs, a runner second, bottom of the 9th inning. Up high to Bonilla, ball 1.
Stanton has not thrown a home run ball this year. Let's try to keep it that way.
Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Another line shot foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Housey down at second, getting his lead. And the 1-1 pitch to Bonilla. A little bit low, 2-1. Here's the 2-1 delivery, foul back. Again, a pitch up above the belt.
He was right on that thing. How in the world did he miss it?
2-2 to Bobby Bonilla. Two men out, bottom half of the ninth inning. There's the potential tying run. Wayne Housey at second. And the 2-2 pitch to Bonilla. High and outside. Full count, 3-2. Howard Johnson on deck. He too has had success against Stanton. 3 for 5 in his career. And we're due a 3-2 pitch to Bobby Bowe. Here it comes. High in the air to right. David Justice out there. He's under it, and the Braves hang on for a 2-1 victory and take 2 out of 3 from the New York Mets here at Shea Stadium. A shaky save for Mike Stanton, but his league leading total goes to 17. 2-1 Braves, your final. Back with a wrap-up right after this.
Braves have now won 5 straight series as they beat the Mets 2-1 and win 2 out of 3. 2-7-0 for Atlanta. The Braves left 8. 1-4-1 for the Mets, who left 3. Steve Avery, the winner, now 4-2. Brett Saberhagen, the loser, is 3-5. Mike Stanton records his 17th save. Time of the game, 2 hours, 16 minutes, 35,734 paid to see it. And Steve Avery is our Armor All Tire Foam player of the game. Avery went 8 innings, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts, and 1 walk. And he pitched very well then. Mike Stanton had us foaming at the mouth from the 9th inning, but he got the save.
We'll all enjoy an off day tomorrow. We're back with you on Tuesday night from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. It's the Braves and the Reds' first of a 3-game series. Tom Glavine goes for his 7th straight win against Tom Browning. Later on tonight on TBS, The Sands of Iwo Jima, starring John Wayne, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. It all begins. Final score here once again. The Braves 2, the Mets 1. The Braves take 2 out of 3 from the New York Mets and win their 5th consecutive series. For Skip Carey, Don Sutton, Joe Simpson, our entire TBS crew, Pete Van Weren from Shea Stadium, thanks for joining us. So long, everyone.